So Sean Payton gets this ball rolling after the Broncos come from behind, from way behind, and then come from behind again, a little bit behind, to beat the Giants. Sean Payton, talking to reporters, said of Jaxson Dart, they found a little spark with that quarterback. I was talking to Giants owner John Mara not too long ago, and I said we were hoping that that change would have happened long after our game. And that was widely perceived as a slap at the guy that Jaxson Dart replaced, a guy who was, when Sean Payton arrived in Denver, the starting quarterback. And then he wasn't by the end of the year, benched by the end of the year, not just for performance, but he was benched because he had a $37 million salary guarantee for 2025 that they didn't want to have vest if he'd been injured coming out of the 23 season. And if he couldn't pass a physical by March of 24, they'd have been on the hook, not just for $39 million last year, minus the $1.21 million the Steelers paid Wilson. They'd have been on the hook for $37 million this year. And that's an issue because Russ thought all that was guaranteed. Russ thought this was a baseball contract. Russ thought the injury guarantees were guarantees. That all came out in the collusion grievance ruling that Pablo Torre tracked down. That was one of the little hidden gems in there. Russ thought that the money he was going to get in 2025 was fully guaranteed, and Sean Payton pulled the rug out from under him. That's the backstory. Then Sean Payton makes the remark about Russ. Then Russ responds, calling it classless, invoking the bounty scandal from 2012. There's Russ's tweet. I thought that eventually we were going to hear him say, I was hacked. I didn't think he was going to own it, but he did. And I like it. I like seeing authenticity. I like seeing humanity. I like seeing real. So, faced with the reaction from Russell Wilson, what did Sean Payton have to say when it was time to go back to the podium and answer the question about Russell Wilson's social media response to the thing that Payton had said on Sunday? Here's Payton from Wednesday.
Look, in the euphoria, the way that game unfolded, that was strictly about Dart. I mean, and I that was in no way, shape, or form anything that was directed at Russ. So, and I might be able to see how he might perceive that, but coming off that win and watching how he played, yeah, that wasn't any intention at all.
Yes, it was. I mean, I got a ton of respect for what Sean Payton does as a coach, how he coaches offense, how much time he puts into it, the commitment that he makes. I mean, come on. We know. He started down that path when he mentioned the euphoria because that's what happened. We can get a little intoxicated by the moment. We can get a little carried away by the unexpected thrill of victory. And sometimes we say things that we know as we're saying it. I mean, I'm the guy who did the cost-benefit analysis when I was a kid, and I had a great smart-ass remark loaded for my mother, and this is going to kill, and I'm going to get spanked, and I don't care. I just think that the miscalculation from Sean Payton in that moment was he didn't think that Russ was going to fire back because Russ never has. He got Russell Wilson to do the one thing that in 13 seasons in the NFL he has never done. He's never responded to any of this criticism. He's always taken the high road. And I still believe that the Sean Payton comment was the straw that fractured the spine of the camel that had been carrying around all of the animosity he's been experiencing this year, because he was supposed to take over New York. He was the king of New York. He was here. He was there. This is his place. You know, there'd been talk about him playing for the Giants for years. That was the team that came up, 6-7 years ago when he was having a difficult contract negotiation with the Seahawks. Remember, he was on Jimmy Fallon. there was this Jimmy Fallon asked him a question that clearly had been fed to him by somebody who understands the nuances of football contracts. And that was the first time we thought, man, he may want to play for the Giants. And it's failed. It's failed miserably. He got benched after 3 games, and the guy that came in has become the king of New York. The Dart and Scadaboo show have taken over New York. Scadaboo was at the Knicks game last night. He should run for mayor. I heard they have an election coming up. Scadaboo would win. Dart would win. A Dart Scadaboo ticket for president, although neither one is 35, would win every vote in the greater New York metropolitan area. So I just think that Russ reacted to just the overall stress he's currently feeling and the overall disappointment that this didn't work out in New York. And he's the punchline for various jokes. And he came into that game 2 weeks ago when Jaxson Dart was getting a concussion evaluation. It was obvious nobody in that building wanted him on the field, including head coach Brian Daboll, who was so desperate to get Jaxson Dart back that the team's under investigation for violating the concussion protocol because Daboll wanted to find out when am I going to get, the real quarterback back in the game.
Hi, it's Mike Florio. Thanks for watching PFT on YouTube. Hit subscribe for the latest news and analysis from Pro Football Talk.